And just like magic. So thank you for joining us, guys. You'll see just popping up, well, she's to my right. I don't know where she's on yours. Shanaze Reade. Everyone wave, say hi.
Hi.
Now we've got a real mix here of people who are BMX fans or people who are Cadbury fans, Shanaze. So I don't know if you could just maybe introduce yourself and remind us what you do and why you're famous and why there's a bike behind your head, maybe?
So I'm Shanaze Reade. I'm a BMX racer and also do track cycling, and I'm preparing for the Olympic Games.
So I guess we're, as Cadbury, are supporting Shanaze as she prepares. So my first question, Shanaze, is oh gosh, what is the life like of someone preparing for the Olympic Games?
So training for the Olympics is, it's obviously you have to sacrifice quite a lot in terms of, your commitments to your friends and your family and everything. It can be quite demanding in terms of just training twice a day, 6 days a week. And, if you're not training, you're racing. If you're not racing, you're travelling on training camps. So it can take up a lot of your time, but at the same time, you get to travel the world and live your dream, really. So you couldn't ask for anything more.
The guys from Bike Radar have joined us, but they haven't got a webcam. But they did write their question earlier, and they say, you're such a positive role model for girls in BMX. What would you say to encourage other girls to get started in the sport?
Yeah, I mean, obviously some people get put off as females trying to take part in my sport because they think, the injuries and everything that go along with it. But I can say, I started BMX when I was 10, and I've had the best experiences in my whole entire life, in my sport, and just not just on the track but off the track, and meeting absolutely amazing people. And as a female or as a male or anything, it's just something that I think at my age, something can't really replace that. And I think it's definitely, a life to have as a BMX athlete. It's amazing to have that. And yeah, there's injuries, but with every sport there's injuries, so don't ever be put off by that.
What other sports do you enjoy?
Well, with BMX and with me doing track cycling, I don't have much time to do many other sports, but I just used to love athletics. I mean, anything in athletics I used to just love. And I mean, I like to watch football and just general sports. I'm just into all sports, but yeah, I guess athletics would have been, a sport I'd like to do if I've got any free time.
Jack, I don't know if you've got any questions to ask Shanaze, but I'll work through in turn. We're very ordered in this hangout.
Hi Shanaze, you alright?
Hey Jack.
You good? I was just obviously the Olympics being a super high pressure event. I was wondering what your kind of biggest fear was, and if you had any kind of recurring dreams of bad things that could potentially go wrong.
BMX is one bad dream if you let it be. But I used to, before the last Olympics, have nightmares that the last corner was always going to disappear or something was going to happen. But yeah, touch wood, nothing. I've not had any kind of bad dreams or any fears. I just want to go into the next Olympic Games and enjoy it because it can't get any worse than falling off your bike 3 times at the last Games. So yeah, I just want to enjoy it at the next one.
Fair point, that's fair. I was wondering if you're into music at all, and what kind of things you listen to maybe on a day-to-day basis, and then I guess as well what you listen to just before you go racing.
Yeah, I just love everything. I mean, if I'm in, depends what kind of mood I'm in. If racing's going well and everything, I'll listen to more chill out music leading into the final and stuff. But if I need to hype myself up more, I'll just listen to more upbeat music, and it can be anything some of just Rihanna's tracks and just some dance music, and it could be the Kaiser Chiefs or the Arctic Monkeys. It could be anything. I'm kind of I like varied music really, so I've not got no particular genre that I like in particular.
That brings us quite nicely onto a question our friend Gerard was going to ask. He did join the hangout, but he had to leave, and he was going to ask after you've done your race, after you've finished, how do you celebrate? What do you do to unwind? Do you go out and listen to Rihanna, or how do you like to unwind?
Usually after a race you're so exhausted, and it kind of doesn't sink in till the day after, it's always the way. If you win a world championships, you kind of think it's just kind of like a relief in a way. And then the day after, you kind of just still coming to terms with it. And it's probably 2 days after that, then you probably go out with friends and probably a few cheeky drinks here and there. But yeah, it's just kind of just do the normal thing and then appreciate what you've done, and maybe go to a few parties afterwards.
We also had a question from one of our users on Google+, James Lawson Smith, was asking whether cycling is a male-dominated sport, and if so, what it's been like being a woman in it.
Yeah, I mean, BMX is a kind of a male-dominated sport in terms of the outside, what people think of my sport on the outside. But no, I mean, there's so many girls that have participated now in BMX racing. But I guess originally people just kind of didn't hear too much about it and who was, what names were involved in the BMX. And they always thought I was kind of the only female that even competes. But no, I mean, it was years ago, but now there's a lot more females taking part in our sport now. It's really easy to get involved with BMX because mostly every track I've been to in the country, everyone is really helpful and wants to help you get involved in the sport.
Brilliant. Josh, by the looks of things, you're joining us on a mobile phone. That's pretty. I think our Hangout's gone mobile. Have you got any questions for Shanaze?
Yeah, so one question. So, hi Shanaze. What kind of goes through your head when you're like at the top of the ramp, just like looking down, so say it's the Olympic final? What do you think of? Like, how do you prepare for that sort of moment?
It's crazy because if you actually step back and you think, if I actually watch a race, I think, God, it's quite intimidating and quite scary. But when you're actually on the starting gate for a final, it's like you're not even on the starting ramp. It's like you're on a flat piece of ground in a way, because all you're thinking about is going as fast as you can and getting into the first corners, in front of everyone. So the whole kind of like, well, I'm on an 8 metre ramp starting gate, and there's 3 big jumps in front of you. That kind of all goes, and yeah, you're just in your own little bubble, in your own little world.
Cool. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
We had a couple of questions on Twitter as well. We had Elaine Vaughan asked if you had a favourite BMX track. Have you been down to the Olympic Park? You were there for the test event, weren't you? What's your favourite BMX track?
My favourite BMX track would be, the Olympic test event was, well up there. But with every BMX track being so different, every track kind of offers, something that's your favourite, but other parts that are not. So, but I think the London test event track was really, really good, and some improvements are going to be made to that for the Olympics. So I think that would probably be one of the best tracks I've ever been on. And
Jamie Bestwick on Twitter asked if it was Cadbury's Crunchies that gave you that extra snap off the starting line. What is your favourite chocolate bar, maybe? Cadbury's chocolate bar.
My favourite chocolate bar is definitely Whisper Gold. But yeah, I'll try the Cadbury's Crunchy on the start gate to get my snap and see how I get on with it.
So you actually were in our Whisper Gold TV ad, the Keep Team GB Pump one. What was it like being in kind of a Cadbury's advert? What was that day filming like?
Yeah, it was cool because it was just something different, to everyday life in terms of training and everything. So it was nice to actually, do something that was entirely different. And the end product was, it was cool to have a BMX bike and have me in something that was so big. So it was a great honour for me, but also for my sport at the same time.
Brilliant. Pete, we haven't come to you yet. Have you got any questions for Shanaze?
Hi, Pete.
Yeah, hi Shanaze.
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very well. I was just you mentioned that you do some track cycling there as well. Do you compete?
Yeah, I've done track cycling in 2007, 8 and 9 and competed with Victoria Pendleton in team sprint.
Amazing. And what came first out of the track cycling and the BMX?
BMX, excuse me. I kind of fell into track cycling just because it's like a crossover for training for BMX. And then, ended up being pretty good at it and, winning a world title, which was kind of by accident, really.
Yeah.
I don't do too much track at the moment. I'm just trying to focus on the BMX at the moment.
Cool. And Alexander, who's also here without a webcam, wanted to know if there's any places you kind of go BMXing near your house.
BMX tracks, in Manchester, you've just had like a huge indoor BMX facility made alongside the velodrome, so I train there all the time. But yeah, it depends where you are. Like if you actually go onto British Cycling's website, you can see there's, like if you type in like your closest area, it'll come up with the tracks and everything. So there's always, there's always BMX tracks in pretty much every town and every city now.
Cool. Coco, Jack, have you got any last questions? Or Josh, Pete?
I was wondering, how old, Shanaze, how old were you when you started riding your bike? When did you learn?
I started riding the bike when I was about 5 or 6. I was pretty late riding the bike because bikes never interested me. I was like, I was all about running and bikes I weren't interested. And then I started racing and riding the BMX bike at the age of 10.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's not too, how old were you when you started to learn to ride a bike?
Do you know what? I don't even know if I can still ride a bike. I hope I can. But pretty young, I think.
Well, hopefully this hangout will have inspired all of us to go out and ride our bikes and have another chance. We could all be BMX stars in the making, maybe. Not sure about me.
I definitely will. I'm not sure if I'll be a very good BMXer, but I'll definitely be riding my bike very soon.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool. I think we've come to the end of our time with Shanaze, I'm afraid. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Massive thank you to Shanaze for joining us.
Thank you.
You can also
Thank you, everyone.
wave bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for joining
Bye.
Cadbury's. It's been a great
Bye.
time. And see you guys later on Google+.
Bye.
Presented by Cadbury Spots and Stripes.